This is a picture of me sitting at my friend Kevin's YouTube studio desk. And this is what one of his Creator Awards looks like. You've probably seen these plaques before. YouTube calls them Creator Awards, and they give them to channels once they hit certain milestones. 100,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers, and 10 million subscribers. I want to have my own plaque too, but the problem is I don't have 100,000 subscribers. I'm going to make my own YouTube Creator Award with a twist. It's going to be the YouTube Creator Award Surgeon Edition. And that means it should probably have a scalpel on it too, but not a boring stainless steel scalpel, a 24 karat gold scalpel. Yeah. Normal YouTube Creator Awards look a little bit like this, but I want to move things around a little bit to make room for this scalpel element. Maybe something a little bit more like this, with the play button a little bit higher up. Now, you probably noticed that YouTube's version of this is made out of metal. I don't have metal laying around to work with. Instead, I'm going to use plywood, cut that down to size, and then use silverish spray paint to make it look like metal. It turns out cutting the wood down to size was pretty easy, but what I didn't expect to be so hard was cutting out the play button. I traced the shape and it looked pretty good, but it ended up being so hard to then cut that with a handheld jigsaw.
In my haste to cut this square out, I forgot that the priority is staying within the square.
I probably needed a better tool or, like a professional, but I didn't have either of those. Thankfully, sandpaper can literally smooth over so many mistakes. After lots of sanding and then cutting out a backing for the plaque, I was ready to glue everything together. So I let them dry overnight, and then it was time for the fun part. For painting, I decided to do this in 3 steps. Step 1 was priming the wood with white spray paint. That part was easy. Then came step 2, which was spray painting the silver metallic spray paint over the primed wood. And then came step 3, which was masking everything except that play button area and spray painting all of that red. Side note, I kind of like how this gradient looked with the blue tape and the red paint. Kind of wanted to stop there. And then here it was. After everything had dried off, I peeled off the tape to see what it would look like, and it looked awesome. But unfortunately, that was the last fun part, at least for a while, because next I had to cut out the vinyl lettering for the plaque, and that was not fun. So the first thing I did was plan out the actual words that I wanted to put on the plaque. And I decided to use this Cricut machine to cut the vinyl. But I always think it's super hard to use this vinyl cutter. So I did a test run with cardboard. This is obviously missing some of the words. It looks sort of right, but you can already see that the vinyl is kind of difficult to work with. This is about the time I started to wish I had a different plan for the lettering, but it was too late to turn back now. I went back to the Cricut machine to start cutting the actual letters out of white vinyl, and it did not go well. First, the letters wouldn't come off, and then I did get them off the backing, but not all of them. So I tried using a hairdryer to get them off. And it helped a little bit, but I still had to literally manually pick and choose each individual letter. When I finally finished, it was far from perfect, but for now, that's okay with me. And that meant it was time to make the gold scalpel. I'll be honest, I had no idea how to do gold plating when I set out to do this video, but the kind folks at Gold Plating Services hooked me up with an entire electroplating kit and all of the solutions that I would need to gold plate a stainless steel scalpel. I'll have all of their info linked up below, including some links to these products. Now, one thing that I learned about gold plating is the final gold looks as shiny, but not more shiny than the metal that you started with. So that means if you start with a dull scalpel, and usually stainless steel scalpels don't look that shiny, then you end up with dull looking gold. So the first step for me was taking the scalpel handle and polishing it to basically a mirror finish, so it'd be super shiny before I started the gold plating. Each of these solutions has a different role. The first solution basically cleans the steel. so it strikes any impurities that are sitting on the surface to get them off. The second one etches the steel to make it ready to receive the atoms of gold. And then the final solution is literally coating that in pure gold. Oh, this is a gold scalpel. So cool. So after all the blood, sweat, and tears, here it is. The YouTube Creator Award, Surgeon Edition. This award that I built uses a normal size gold scalpel, but I also built something containing a very tiny scalpel. It's part of the tiniest surgical survival kit in the world. And if you want to see that video, click here.